Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the male soap opera moment. Let's get to it. Without further ado, we have the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia and former champion, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, and the new, undisputed, recognized When's World Prediction Champion on his way to Damascus. His name is Desmond Dagenhart. Damaskian like him.
It is so good to have this back over my shoulder where it belongs. Yeah, Vinny, you didn't even beat Wens.
Hey, that's saying something. I'll even acknowledge that it is not hard to beat me. I go for it. Listen, I go for it. When I go for it, I go for it. And when I hit, it's a home run. And when I miss, well, it's a strikeout.
I'll say, look, we know what happened. Wens and I actually tied here, but as I called Cena's heel turn on my prediction, this right here came home right where it belongs.
Indeed. And
I want to say to the fans here, because they won't ever actually see this, but we have on record that Wens would have given it to me if I'd gotten everything else wrong but called that heel turn. It is on record. I got a text message.
It's true. It's damn true. And I could be like some of those Hollywood hacks that say their accounts got hacked when they tweeted this or posted that. But no, listen, you deserve it. If I had a sign, it would say you deserve it. The fact that you called that on the actual pit, this is not something you've been calling for 6 months, like my Alexa Bliss return that I've been teasing on and off. This was, hey, it's going to probably happen one of two ways. And you called it. And when it happened, I was like, holy cow, that was unbelievable. And yes, you do deserve it. And let's talk about it. So all this started back several weeks ago. We wanted to get some Raws and SmackDowns out of the way so we could kind of dissect all of the goings on in WWE. But at the conclusion of Elimination Chamber, we saw The Rock's bottom, John Cena, and Cody Rhodes. So what happened and transpired at that point was one of the most, in my opinion, and I'm going to get y'all's, that's most important to the fans here, y'all's opinions, transcendental moments in my WWE fandom. I literally could not believe what I was seeing. And I was not the only one. There were people like losing their stuff, like grown-ass people crying and children with hearts broken. They had just bought their Cena shirt. They're so excited. There's my hero. There he goes. And the world has turned upside down and inside out. He's turned us all that way. So, champ, first of all, congrats on seeing this unravel and unfold before it even happened. I want to get your response to when it happened, like, holy cow, what was going through your mind? But also those questions we talked about before we hit the record button. How does it make you feel as a fan? And then also, how does it make you feel as an analyst storyline-wise?
Well, as a fan, I feel like, obviously behind the scenes, looking at this, Cena just gave us longtime fans a huge gift, because us adult fans, the ones that grew up watching him, we are the ones that he is doing this for. We've been calling for him to go heel and change his character for so long, and we've wanted it, and he's never had the opportunity to do so. And now on his farewell tour, he is giving us this opportunity. So 100% as a fan, this is one of those, thank you, Cena. I have to boo you because you're doing a damn good job of your job. But thank you, Cena, for giving us what we have wanted for a decade and a half now. He has been a face for too long. As an analyst, I will say, it's like, I was not 100% certain that Cena was turning heel. It was the bet I saw as the more likely option over Cody turning heel right now. Those were the only two options. One had to happen, and I called Cena. But I was sitting there and watching the segment when Cody says, My soul is no longer mine. I'm sitting here like, wait, am I wrong? For a split second, Cody's delivery there before saying, and the reason that my soul is no longer mine is because I already gave it to the fans in this ring years ago. Like, there it is. And oh, but then we get into the people. I see a lot, and I'm sure you've read a lot of people complaining about it on the internet. And a lot of people are saying this doesn't make sense. Cena just turning on the fans because they've been booing him when he's been going like, oh, it makes perfect sense. The man hit his breaking point after 15 years of them booing him when he's done nothing but be the consummate good guy, the consummate hero, standing up for Daniel Bryan, standing up for all of the people that we want him to play, doing all of the Make a Wish stuff. He has done more for to be a good guy, won more championships, all while going against the heel factions, going against the authority, everything that we want in a hero. He was, and he was booed the entire time. In 2013, he had to go away from injury, had to get surgery on his elbow, and when he announced it that he was going away, he was obviously heartbroken that he was having to leave. The fans cheered. They cheered that he was having to leave. And 15 plus years of them booing him while being the good guy, doing everything right, it only makes sense that he finally hit his breaking point and now is doing what is best for him. Beautiful storytelling. And anybody who doesn't see it and this says doesn't make sense just doesn't want to see it.
Mm.
Now, I will say this. We're talking this right here. If you're going to do Mount Rushmore heel turns, obviously you got Shawn Michaels ending the Rock and Roll Express. You got Hulk Hogan joining the NWO.
Yep.
And you got, and now it's like you've got, you, you, you've got the, obviously, I'll say this is absolutely terrible heel turn, bad decision, but Stone Cold joining Vince McMahon. That is iconic, even though it was a terrible decision and did not work in the long run. It was an iconic moment. And now you have John Cena turning on the fans and turning on Cody Rhodes to join The Rock. This is people are saying it's not an iconic moment. I'm telling you right now that in 10 years, this will be remembered as one of the greatest heel turns of all time.
So, Booch, before you're chomping at the bit, and I love it, before you take the floor, sir, one of the things that I loved about Cena's promo is he not only threw shade at those who've been booing him, he said, this also is for those of you with the shirts on, with the Cena shirt. So it wasn't like only for people that have been booing him like me. It's for everybody. It's for people who have been paying into his pension fund. It's for people who have been booing him, for cheering him. He's owned it in the past. It's for me at first, it was a hard sell until I saw him on Raw and he took the time. And also, it helped that Cody comes out and calls him a whiny little bitch. And so that he speaks for those of us who are like, dude, why are you whining about being booed? You owned it a year ago. You were like, I love it all. Bring it all on. So it's good that he's answering to both sets of fans. Now, Booch, our former champion, would like to have some words. Go ahead, Booch.
Yes, I would. And the reason I was going like this was because this was such a good conversation. I had that urge to jump in, but Dez, I had to let him. I had to let him cook. But I had that urge to kind of jump in and like agree with them. But it was so beautifully well put. So obviously, I was not 100% that Cena was going to go heel, but I did mention it as a possibility because prior to Rock offering Cody to be his champion, I felt Cena or Punk were the two logical choices to win that chamber. You could pick either one of them. Once that offer was made, Punk could no longer be an option. No disrespect. Because I felt like if Cody was to accept The Rock's offer, him as a heel going up against a babyface Cena would work. However, if it was a possibility, I put it out there as a possibility, but did not expect it. If Cena had gone heel, him and a babyface Cody was perfect. And the reason it's perfect is because we've heard stories before about John when he talked about when he's first what was up against The Rock in 2012. There was talk of turning him heel then. And he said within 48 hours, he had new music, new gear, and was ready to go. But then Vince decided, well, it wouldn't make sense to switch him heel for this one run and then switch him back to a babyface. We have too much invested in you business-wise, so it was not the right move. Also, here's the other thing, and Vince, and I'll go back even further. Cena did a podcast with Jericho on the WWE Network. He used to have Live with Chris Jericho. It only lasted 2 episodes, but one of the episodes was with John Cena. And Cena said, I don't have a problem turning heel. What I have a problem with is what if I turn heel and these kids no longer have a hero to look up to? Because that's the thing. Cena wasn't just the number one guy. He was the superhero for kids around the world. And there's a lot of wrestlers that seriously. Now, I'm going to bring this guy up, but only as an example. So everybody calm down. When Goldberg made his return in 2016, one of the things he said in the promo was, the thing I miss the most, other than kicking ass, was being a superhero for the kids around the world. And in this day and age, there ain't enough of us. And he was right. Because in WWE, nobody was able or willing to fill that void. So turning Cena heel back then, as much as you might have wanted it, would not have helped because then there's nobody there. It works now because Cody's that guy. Cody Rhodes can now be that hero for the kids. He can now be that quintessential babyface that Cena once was. And because Cena's out the door in 10 months and Cody's sticking around, it makes sense to do this, to let Cody continue to be the hero and go up against this heel John Cena. And like I said, we've been teased about it so many times, we weren't quite prepared for it. So I didn't see it as a possibility, but when you're telling the story and The Rock coming out, as an analyst, if I had to make one change, I would have did this. Cena goes and hugs Cody. The Rock does the throat slit, and then Cena kicks him in the balls. What I would have done was the hug, the kick in the balls, and then the throat slash, because I felt like you revealed it a tiny bit too early. Like, once you saw the throat slit, you're like, oh, he's doing it. I would have did much better of I hug, a kick in the balls, and then go there. And then I felt like, now look, did it kill it? No, it didn't kill it dead. It still worked. That's just my one little change I would have made. Outside of that, I was waiting for the promo. That's what I want. Now we got the heel turn. Where does it go now? Because what's he going to do? So he comes out on Raw. Same music, same gear. So my first reaction is, okay, what the fuck is going on here? And here's the thing. I found myself screaming at the TV. That's how this is a fan in me. As soon as Cena grabs that mic, he drops it. And as soon as he walks away, I found myself screaming at the TV like, you pick that microphone back up. I know what. Don't you fucking walk away. I'm losing my shit. He comes back, picks it up, drops it again, then picks it up. Then he goes to start talking. The fans start booing. And now I'm like, okay, you all shut the fuck up right now. I want to hear this explanation. You are not talking over him. I'm not playing this whole, he got so much, he got booed. Fuck that. I don't want that Dominic New Day shit. I want to hear this fucking promo. And then he cut it. And I was like, for 25 years, I've been the victim of an abusive relationship. He's like, you have lost your chance to talk. Like, and then he got mad when it was time to get mad. He was calm when it got calm. He was like, you're making this so easy for me. And then he would let them run their mouths.
Yep.
Be like, you're proving my point.
Yep.
And then my favorite part was when he got to, okay, you don't get new gear. You dress like me. I don't dress like you idiots. You don't get new music. That is my voice on that song. And your time is finally up. And my time is finally now. And I went, fuck me. I'm like, oh. And then he said, Let's Go Cena people. You steal my moments. You steal my time. I am an object to you. I'm breaking up with you. Like, that was so beautifully done. I rewatched it 20 times already. I don't even think I'm looking at the same John. I think I'm looking at a stranger. Like, this is not the, and it was so different and out of element that it worked. And now, and then people complained. I heard on the internet they bitched. Why did Cody have to come out and Cena didn't respond back? First of all, the Cody thing, it was there, but I liked it because you gotta remember, WrestleMania is in like 30 and like 20 something days. We got plenty of time for Cena and Cody to go back and forth. Plenty of time. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the promo battles back and forth. This is Cena getting 25 years worth of rage off his chest. Like, for years, you've been telling me to go fuck myself, and I turned the other cheek, and now I'm like, you know what? Fuck each and every one of you too. You know what? After everything I did for you sorry sons of bitches, like, that's the one part I liked. He said, what do we get? What do we get? None of you sons of bitches ask me how I feel. I'm like, oh, so now he's got it out of his system. Now we put the clever heel John and the baby face and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh, go
want to
ahead.
add something to this
Yeah.
because I see a lot of people complaining online about he didn't say anything about Cody. He didn't say that's because that moment wasn't about Cody. Him attacking Cody wasn't even about Cody. It was about the fans. And until Cody came out and got in Cena's face, Cena had no issues with Cody. It never had anything to do with Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Cody has to come out and say, no, you did this to me now. And now you're being a little bitch. So now Cena will respond to that next week. Now, I will say something. You mentioned the fans and how they're getting. I actually see a lot of people saying, oh, the European fans are so much better of live shows. I'm like, look, they are more active. They are louder and more vocal than American fans. I will give you that. But to me, that doesn't necessarily make it better. European fans make the show about them.
Yes. Thank you.
American fans go to watch the show. We cheer when we're supposed to cheer. We listen when we're supposed to listen. We boo when we're supposed to boo.
Hold on. Are you telling me that you don't want to hear ole, 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 ole all
I
show?
don't mind that in the middle of a match, but in the middle of somebody's promo when we're supposed to be hearing what they're saying, explaining the story, fuck the fans. I want to hear what the guy's saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Agreed.
I am exactly the same way. I say it all the time. That's the thing. That's why I've always said the international shows are a great place to do a pay-per-view. It's usually not a good place for a TV taping. Now, John Cena, he has the ability to control a crowd.
Yep.
So he was able to, and it also helped that it was on Netflix. So there was no time limit. It wouldn't have to worry about, I mean, they have ad breaks, but they don't have to they're not scheduled at 10 minutes increments or whatever, like a TV. And that's also why it sucks, because you take over the show, you're messing up their TV time. That's why matches get cut or segments get cut. And then they go, oh my God, why did they cut this match? Because y'all wouldn't shut the fuck up and let the guy do the 10, 15-minute promo. So they had to extend it 10 more minutes to tell the story. Now a match gets cut. So you want the matches to go longer? Know your role and shut your mouth.
Oh, so speaking of living on the corner of Jabroni Drive and Know Your Role Boulevard, there was a moment that you talked about, Booch. I want to bring it back. And Des, I feel like we were going to say the same or something similar when you talked about the order of operations there, whether you prefer the kick to the pills or the cutthroat move first. For me, I felt like they executed it perfectly because I feel like you have to give the order before you do the move because he is the final boss. If Cody does that before, it's like it takes away power from the final boss. It's like it was a moment. It was like a mob moment. So I appreciate your thought in that, and I see it and I feel it. I also feel like you have to be more of a crony if you're Cena to really pull this heel thing off.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see these. Yeah, no, go ahead, you.
Yeah, I was saying, the way you worded that makes perfect sense. Because my mindset was I was going for the shock value. Because you're not expecting Cena to kick him in the nuts. So I thought if he did that first, the fans would have been like, whoa, shit, a lot quicker. But once you saw the throat slash, everybody was, oh,
Yeah.
in the balls. But the only people
Yeah.
that were really shocked were the people that couldn't see the monitor.
Yeah.
Well, preaching the monitor, you knew. You already
Yeah.
knew what was going on.
Well, think about it this way. You seen the movie 300, right?
Yes.
What was his name? Dionysus? Was that was his name? Huh?
I don't know.
Leonidas?
Leonidas? Yeah, okay.
He led the 300, yeah.
Right. Before he kicks the dude into the fucking pit, he looks up at his wife and she gives him that nod.
Oh.
Cena looked to The Rock. The Rock gave him the signal.
Mhm.
He was waiting for permission. He was waiting for the time, the decision to be made. Because if he'd done it himself, it'd have been entirely about himself. But The Rock is in this story. So The Rock had to give the order.
Okay.
It really is that simple.
That is valid. That's valid. I'll give you that. All right.
So now that we're here, and really, I don't know that anybody cares about anything else right now in WWE. I mean, we have some storylines. I want to talk a little bit about Tiffany and Charlotte, what we saw there. What great action. Like ass beatings. It was believable. Like the moonsault off of the freaking Titantron. Like I was watching this like, what the heck? They're actually gonna make Booch excited about watching Charlotte Flair. Am I wrong about this?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. WrestleMania at this point might as well be the Cody Cena show. That's the only match worth watching, the only story worth telling, first of all. Second of all, if you watched that flip, she doesn't even touch Charlotte. She only hit the security guards. Both times she went for a moonsault, and Charlotte had to fall back on purpose because she was miles away from her.
But that's not Tiffany's fault. That's not Tiffany's fault. You
Well,
see?
it's either Tiffany's fault or it's either Tiffany's fault for not aiming for Charlotte or Charlotte's
Tiffany's on top of a freaking jumbotron. What are you supposed to do?
Hold on. I said it's either, I'm not saying it's either her fault or it's Charlotte's fault. One of them is to blame. So if it's not Tiffany,
Or the both.
then
It
Charlotte
couldn't be.
could be both. I'm saying that's another third option, but I'm saying she missed her both times. Literally, she's only hitting the security. So Charlotte has to fall back to make it seem like, oh, I'm going down too, when she was nowhere near the pile. She literally could have just stood there, looked down, and went, "You fucking kidding me?" But that
She
would
could have pulled Samoa Joe.
yeah, she could have pulled Samoa Joe and just went,
I guess I'm more excited about the fact that they're trying to build something up for once
Yep.
instead of just giving us matches and telling us to be excited. So
And I'll say this though, I like the fact that Charlotte is getting over on Tiffany more and more every week because that makes a bigger deal when Tiffany wins at Mania.
please, dear God, I hope so. Because like I said, this whole thing only works if Tiffany wins.
Yeah,
That's the
and I'll say
only way
this.
any of this works.
You're saying that Cena and Cody's the only story worth telling. I have to disagree with you because right now we've got a three-way story building right now between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk.
mm,
And that, to me, is a good story because there's a lot of hate among those three. There's a story to tell. Every pairing in that has a story to tell.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it was like, Punk and Rollins, it's like you notice when they're building the story, they're doing a lot more fighting and a lot less talking. Because really nothing left for these two to say to each other. I feel like everything that's been said has been said. So they kind of
Yeah.
put it off of the Netflix thing. So you had to put him in the cage. Now,
Well, yeah, that's a good part of why they're bringing in Roman now because now they can tell more of the story of Roman and Rollins and Roman and Punk.
but
And
yeah,
then-
but
and then-
I'm sorry, but I see Roman and Rollins having a story. But really, the only thing with him and Punk, it revolves around Paul Heyman. I feel like
Paul Heyman and Ego. That's it. And it is really that's all you need for a story.
mm.
but I feel like Roman's being forced into this because The Rock can't wrestle. So it's kind of like they're segueing him in here, is how I feel. Because apparently Moana takes precedent over WrestleMania.
So real quick, speaking of people who can't wrestle, let's talk about Jey Uso a little bit and how he's potentially going to be stripping Gunther of his title in.
I am looking forward to this.
Are you really? Because I'm nervous. Desmond, I'm nervous, and here's why. Boots said something very interesting in our last recording, and it had me thinking. At first, I was like, all right, it's just Boots being angry, and that's fine. But then I thought about it, and I watched Jey Uso, and he literally has the super kick and the frog splash or whatever they call it. Like, there's nothing.
Here.
And yeet. And this is his only thing. And the spear, yeah. This is selling merch. But it's only going to last for so long. And then are people going to still be satisfied is this enough? And this is an authentic question. Is this enough to keep the universe as a whole, all of us, not some of us, but most of us, happy with that as champion because it's fun, it's sexy, he comes through the crowd. If you buy a ticket, you might get a chance to touch his shoulder kind of thing. Or are we better than that? Do we deserve more than that? What do you think, Desmond?
Well, first off, are you literally asking, are wrestling fans smart?
Yeah, I am because some of us are.
The vast majority, though, let's be real here.
The people that are but the people that are talking about they're actually having this conversation are listening to this conversation. So this is
Doesn't
for them.
matter. Doesn't matter how many people are having the conversation. And what matters is the business and how many people are buying the merch. That tells the story.
Right. So that you just answered the question. Okay.
That
So now that we know Gunther is going to lose at Mania, how do you feel about it?
Well, here's what I think, and some do believe Jey Uso needs to win for multiple reasons, but it doesn't matter. The thing is, I think he needs to win. But I do agree with Vinny on one thing. He does not need to be a longtime champion. He's never going to be the face of the company. We need to get the belt off of Gunther. We need to get a big pop, make the fans happy for a while, one or two title defenses, and then he drops it to the next guy. Okay, but Jey Uso is over. Jey Uso is never going to be hotter than he is right now.
That's true.
And if you don't do it now, you are wasting you are wasting money, potential merch. This is the time. If you're wanting to make money business-wise, this is the time. So you put the belt on it, and he doesn't have a super wide move set. He's got a Samoan drop, he's got the hip attack in the corner, he's got the splash, the spear, the basic shit but let's be real here. Almost every wrestler out there, the greatest wrestlers of all time, recycled 5 or 6 moves.
But we see more grappling from others. Like, Chad Gable is a good example of a current day actual wrestler.
Chad Gable is a specific archetype of wrestler, though. He is an amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
He does more suplexes. That's his style.
Yeah.
But he still sticks to a handful of moves. He just
That's
sticks
because the people that he wrestles can't handle any of the other stuff.
No. It's because that's the style of wrestling he does. Everybody has a set of moves. They might break out something special on a big match, but every wrestler out there has a set of moves that they use more than anything else.
Okay, so besides the moves that Jey Uso uses, what else does he have?
I mean, other than that, he doesn't need much. He's got strikes, and he's got strikes, and he can do basic grappling and pushing, which he can. And I have seen him do a little bit of chain wrestling. It's not his usual forte, but he can do it with the right person if necessary. So he can have that match with somebody who does the chain wrestling regularly and trade a couple of things off to get their spots in. He can work with anybody, put on an exciting match. Now, the storyline wise, he is much better chasing the title than he will be keeping it. Which is why I say he does not need to be champion for long. But he is very good at chasing the title and getting people to get behind him.
So how long would you and do you foresee him holding the title?
3 to 6 months most.
So SummerSlam max.
Is that about SummerSlam? No, I would say
Actually, it'll be
SummerSlam.
beyond that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, SummerSlam, but no longer than Survivor Series.
Okay. That would be about 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What about you, Booch? Do you still have these lingering fears? Is it even a fear? It's a reality we're just looking forward
It's a
to.
reality. I know Jay's winning, but here's the thing. And you were talking about the moves and everything. If you want to sum up Jey Uso in one sentence, I'll give it to you right now. He's got a main event level entrance, mid-card level promos, and a jobber level moveset. That's the best way to describe Jey Uso. Also, here's the thing. The yeet thing is the biggest thing that got him over. And recently, I found out through some videos that were on the internet, turns out he's not the first person to say yeet. You know who is? Logan Paul, in a social media video long before he got into WWE. So Logan Paul, turns out he was the first one to say yeet. Also,
Yeet
if you want to know what
has been a thing. Yeet has been a thing in slang for a long fucking time. Just like how The Rock, none of his shit was The Rock's either. The Rock got all his shit from slang he knew growing up.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Desmond here. I heard Yeet on an old hip hop album from the 1990s. So
Jey Uso, we talk about money and everything. You notice the number one thing we talk about is merch.
Mhm.
Jey Uso sells a lot of merch. I'll give him that. You know what Jey Uso doesn't sell? Tickets. How do
It's
I
hard
know
to
this?
define that because if you're going to
You want me to define it? I'm about to define it. On record, since Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, the WrestleMania tickets have been struggling to sell. They are stuck right now at 45,000 tickets per show. You need at least 51,000 to get the stadium expansion to fill the capacity, which is 65,000. Now, since John has turned heel, they've sold some more. So basically, Cena turning heel is helping to up the tickets. But when Jay won the Royal Rumble, apparently not enough people thought that was enough to buy tickets to go to Vegas. And people complained about the tickets being expensive. Let me talk to you. WrestleMania always been expensive. The majority of the time, tickets expensive. It costs. At least here in Atlanta, it cost $1,000 a seat to sit front row. And that's just the ticket, not including what you buy at the concession stand, what you buy at the merch table, how much you got to pay to park unless you took the MARTA. It's 1,000. Some of them are $2,000, some of them are 5. WrestleMania has always been expensive. So it all depends on, does the card make you want to make the trip? For example, the fact that it was in Atlanta, period, made me make the trip the first time. I remember when we were leaving, my friends, a mutual friend of ours, and by me and Des, Steven, asked me as we were leaving the Georgia Dome, do we want to go to Miami next year for WrestleMania? I said, let's hold off on that. Money-wise, we're good. We went to Raw the next night. As soon as The Rock said, WrestleMania 28, John Cena versus The Rock, we went, Miami it is. We were already set, and tickets were already, enough people heard John Cena versus The Rock that by the time the pre-sale came out, they were set. A lot of people willing to go. So I'm saying this, Jake stuffed t-shirts, but he does not pack a house.
Can I make a point?
Go ahead.
You are comparing basically Jey Uso right now is in his, if we're looking at The Rock, all right, Jey Uso right now is in his Nation of Domination days.
chronologically, yep.
I guess if we count the bloodline as like a
Yep.
nation of domination.
Right.
Right.
The Rock wasn't selling out tickets back then.
Mm.
He wasn't selling out shows back then.
True, but they weren't putting the world title on him either, though. But yes, you can.
But he was chasing the Intercontinental Championship at that
Right.
time.
My point being, okay, this is still early career for Jay, and he's selling enough merch, and he is putting asses in seats, but he's not going to be the big show. He's not. And during that time, you had Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold were the ones were the ones moving the tickets. Now you got John Cena and Cody Rhodes are the ones selling the tickets. You're sitting there saying that Jay isn't the one supposed to be making the big decisions in this match. You specifically talked about The Rock and John Cena. At that point, Cena was at the top of his career, and The Rock was such a nostalgia act at that point that bringing him back automatically did things. That would be like saying, that would be like right now if we decided to bring if Undertaker was in the best shape of his life and decided to come back for another match.
Okay. Those are things I can agree with you on. But let me ask this question: if that's true, why would you? If Jay's not that guy, why put the Royal Rumble on him when you know you're needing to sell tickets on the road to WrestleMania?
Because the guy that you're having lead the show right now is Cody Rhodes, and he's already got a title. There is nobody else at this point. Realistically, there is nobody else on the roster right now that I could see being the face of WWE other than Cody Rhodes right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And couldn't you just had Cena throw him over the top rope though?
What you mean throw Jay over?
Yeah, I'm saying when they were the last two, why not just have Cena toss him over?
But then and here's the thing is, I agree. I chose Cena for the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But, and this is the thing, that would just mean that Jay would have won the Elimination Chamber and Cena couldn't have been in the chamber. That was your reason for not choosing Cena.
Yeah. No.
So the reason you chose Cena, the reason you didn't choose Cena for the Royal Rumble is the same reason that they had Jay win.
Yeah.
because Cena had to win. Because Cena had to win either the Chamber or the Rumble,
Yeah.
and Jay was going against Gunther either way
Yeah.
because
Well,
that's the story that they were building.
yes, I know. And I was just, and obviously, yeah, I picked Punk, but I was playing devil's advocate for a second to kind of get to base off of what you were saying because I wanted to hear your overall point. So, yeah, obviously, I picked Punk. I was just trying to play devil's advocate for a moment to see where your mind was. And that's
But
about the point.
so you have to look at it like that. It's like he's working for the title that they are not. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is the world title for that show, but they're not focused on that one as much as they are. They're putting the title on that show on people who can entertain the fans. Gunther by pissing them off and having good people come against him, and Jay by getting them to cheer. So they're keeping that show entertaining, but the focus this year is on Cody Rhodes and John Cena, and nothing you did with the other title was going to change that.
Okay.
And there you have it. And we have run out of time, guys. We're going to revisit these and more topics. We may even talk about the EST going up against Rhea Ripley. I don't know if anybody's excited about that. Nobody's really talking about Booch. It kind of makes sense what you're saying. This is all about John Cena. This is all about John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and nobody cares about anything else, really.
Exactly. And
I will say there's one thing I care about with Mania right now, and is that other than John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I feel like they're pushing triple threat matches. They like you got Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. First off, Bianca Belair shouldn't be going for that title right now. Me and Vinny very much agree with this. Bianca should be facing Jade.
yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It
does
should
make
just
sense.
it should just be Io going against, and realistically, it should be Io going against. It should be Io going against fucking
Rhea.
Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley's never beaten Io. To me, that's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least,
I mean-
that would be something to work with. Like they could have done, because that's the thing. That was why when I said that when Charlotte picked Tiffany, that was because now you got Rhea in a room full of people that Bailey and Alexa Bliss were the only two people in that chamber she could draw money with. So that's why I'm saying put Rhea. I would have thought Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss would have been great because Alexa's hot on her comeback. That would have been a great match.
100%.
As soon as Io Sky won the title, I was like, what? Again, this is a little game that I've been playing since Elimination Chamber, and or actually, it's the Rumble. It's a game I call "What the fuck is wrong with Triple H?" Because I'm convinced he's out of his goddamn mind, especially after that first match. Then when he had Charlotte pick Tiffany, what the fuck is wrong with you? I saw Jay win the Rumble. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm seeing a triple threat match. What the fuck? Like, why is Triple H? What is I? Look, I get you want to be unpredictable, but don't be stupid. Like,
Well, hold on. Hey, 6 months ago, you were shining his shoes, Booch. I mean, come on, man. You got to take the good with the bad. He's turned the ship around. We can all say that WWE is a lot better now than it was 2 years ago. Can we all agree?
Look, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but it's still, as an analyst, you got to call it like you see it. Now, if something happens to prove me wrong, that's it. Like when people said, like, you got to let it play out. I'm an analyst. I have to call it like I see it currently. Now, if shit changes, I can come back and say, okay, I was wrong. Like, for example, when Roman beat Cody at WrestleMania 39, we all agreed, what the fuck was that shit? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Now, hindsight with what happened at WrestleMania 40, that don't bother us anymore because they fixed it and did something to make
They tried not to.
Yeah, they almost didn't. They almost did it. Then fans had to The Rock had to get humbled with that dislike video, and all of a sudden we got the story finished. So now that they finished the story, I don't give a shit about WrestleMania 39 anymore. Like, that's okay. I didn't let that go because you had it play out. But as analysts, we're talking month to month or week to week. I got to go off what I'm seeing. So hopefully Triple H can prove me wrong and there'll be better stories to tell. But I'm just going with what I'm seeing right now currently.
Back to my original point though, it's like we got that triple threat match, and then we've also got, instead of it just being Seth Rollins and CM Punk, we got Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. It just feels like, oh, we didn't have anything for Roman, so we're gonna throw him in this feud here. And I get that and like I said, he's got stories with both of them, and they both got they've all got stories with each other. So I get it, but at the same time, I feel like they could have done them separately.
Well, like to have seen when Roman pulled Seth out of the cage.
Yeah.
But okay, you're giving Seth one win, so now Punk and Seth can have a rubber match and finally be done with this bullshit. But
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Roman versus Seth because that would have been a great match. Because again, the whole thing about Seth being Cody's shield, Roman taking his eye off the ball was what cost him the championship. So obviously, I have unfinished business here. Let's give them a one-on-one story and finally end this
Yep.
shit once and for all.
Yeah.
Punk could have faced Logan Paul, who tossed him out of the Rumble.
Oh yeah.
A great
I agree.
match.
I agree. So I mean, I feel like it's like they're doing that kind of triple threat there when they could have done other things. And then they've got, what was it? I mean, I'm just looking at the roster, and the more I look at it, it's like, okay, what now? We got LA Knight is the US champ again. What's he gonna do with? And I haven't seen what are they gonna do with him at Mania.
They haven't planned anything yet because they're still trying to figure everything else out. And I know they're trying to build Randy Orton and Kevin Owens for Mania because he came out after the unsanctioned match, which bugged the crap out of me because I'm sitting here going, it would have been so much better. Like, and I know Roman and Sammy aren't friends, but you really want to piss off Kevin Owens? Screw him over and give Sammy the win. Because Sammy could use that to elevate himself, and then Kevin could take the loss, and that be motivation for him to face Randy Orton. But then you wait till it's over and have Randy walk out. It's like, it would have been better the other way. Because
All Randy did was stop. All Randy did was stop him from ending Sammy's career.
Yep, that pile driver. Yep, you got to be careful with it. I know he's the master at it, but from a storyline wise perspective,
That's the story they were telling. Is Randy came out to stop him from ending Sammy's career, and then making a point, which was cool. I liked it. But at the same time, I do kind of agree it would have been more impactful if he affected the match itself. But that's, that's a personal, I get it. Like I said, he's not Sammy's friend, so making Sammy win the match would, it's different. But I see both sides of that. But I just feel like, other than, like I said, I like Jey Uso versus Gunther because I think the story has been told very well. I think that a 3 to 6 month title reign at most is a good reign for him to get a starter reign on, just to make a point, say, hey, look, I'm now stamping myself as a singles competitor. I feel like Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany, assuming that Tiffany wins like I predicted 2 months ago. Assuming that Tiffany wins against Charlotte is phenomenal storytelling. It's a great way to use Charlotte because Charlotte is the bigger star, whether we like it or not. That's who it is. So, but like I said, really, when it comes down to it, every WrestleMania has one big story, and then everything else comes under it. Yep. And the big story is going to be Cody and John.
And there we go. And that's a wrap. But without the couple key catchphrases before we leave you, one of which is, have a nice day.
bang.
And Cody said it best. Go fuck yourself.